Today is June 18th, 2023. Believe it or not, he showed up outside my client on the other road. You can hear him screaming stuff. Even yesterday, where people scattered. Because when you actually think about it, like they say up in Akron around me, none of this is funny. That agent. Now it's going to come down to this. And regardless, they already knew before when I called the FBI. Why? Because Dave told Danny that he had hired some guy named Pete on his own to take me unaware and to do all the things. He was drugging me, beating me, raping me, leaving me with bruises, I was throwing up, dizzy, heart racing, then a severe personal infection, and I thought the well water was eating my skin, and here I'm being beat, drugged, and raped so that they could frame me and Photoshop me and scenes. And it's in a sextortion group. It's a new sextortion scam. It's where they take embarrassing photos of you and then try to extort money. It's sextortion. It's a federal crime. And instead of doing it off Instagram or Facebook, they're actually going in people's homes and violating them in their homes. They're taping them unaware in the shower, the bathroom, sex trafficking videos on them on porn sites. They're photoshopping shower scenes of washing in the other room, trying to extort money, and then you're waking up, running to the bathroom, throwing up, thinking you got the flu. Well, where did I bump my arm or my leg? And here they got a fake sodium pentothal report, and you've been sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours. They're amnesia drugs. So they're actually violating people in their homes. It's a horrible, horrible gang that's doing it. Where Andrew Arabeck up in Ravenna, he was doing on Facebook and Instagram. These people are actually breaking in people's homes, taping them unaware, photoshopping shower scenes, breaking in amnesia drug, raping them, beating them. You're waking up with giant bruises. By then you're going to the doctor. It's like, I haven't even left my house. What's wrong with me? Why am I so bruised? And they didn't know, and they thought I was anemic and told me to take iron pills. Because I wasn't leaving my house. Nobody was putting it together that people were breaking in my home, drugging me up, and violating me in my own home. It's a sextortion group. They're trying to get money out of taking naked pictures of me, and then date rape, drugging me, and telling me to say stuff. And those amnesia drugs, you would sleepwalk for 4 to 6 hours, just like they did to Eric on November 18, 22, Walmart 62, 2 to 6 p.m. by the hair salon. All the tapes before me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to say it, da-da-da-da-da. It had nothing to do with it. They got that man high and told him go and confess. Just like my co-worker, Dark, she was taken from a bar, and she didn't even know she left with him. She took a drink. Her friend said she took a drink out of a drink. All of a sudden, she acted happy. People walked up and said, "Let's go," and she willingly left with them. Just like my neighbor Mike, he came up to me. He didn't know how I got home from a bar. He didn't know how I got money in his pocket. Here he had went to the bank. He had went out to eat. He came home, changed his shoes that were off, and he had no idea. He'd been sleep driving all night long. It's not funny to amnesia drug somebody, and it happens more than what people would like to admit. And it usually happens in bars and restaurants. They're date rape drugs. That's how they get people to go along with it, willingly have sex with somebody, and they don't even know they're doing it because their conscience is shut down chemically. If you ever watch Law and Order Special Victims Group, it happens all the time. And then they have to go back through the cameras, street cameras, trying to find out where they took them and everything, and they're willingly walking with them. So this is coming down to the point these people are actually breaking in people's homes. It's been 4 years almost, come September 18th, that I've been divorced. Dave got the house and jury under murder and attempted murder, extortion, rape, drugs. He should be in jail for that. Why are they down here? And then I got to thinking when one of the neighbors said, I told the police I don't want retired Judge Pete breaking my home, taping my family unaware. And that little kid's like, I don't want to take pictures of me. Reality. They're trying to convince these people that they don't have a constitutional rights, that they can break in their homes, that they can tape them unaware, Photoshop scenes, They can pick the locks on their house, go in, and their wife's throwing up, and then she has a bruise, and then get infected. Well, women get infection all the time, but they don't usually stay, and they don't usually get severe, and da-da-da-da-da, unless there's something really wrong. And here, that they can go in and violate their wife or their girlfriend or their daughters or their mothers, that they can go in and drug them up and rape them and beat them and then extort money out of them and Photoshop scenes. And the victim doesn't know anything, but they have bruises they can't explain. They're infected, and their heart's racing, they're dizzy, and they're almost passing out. That's sick. He's retired Judge Pete is a serial rapist. This is a sex extortion group. See, now it's going to come down to that FBI agent, John, where they made fun of him June 7th, 2023. Walmart 62. They taped an audio through the whole store. I'm in the bathroom about 11 o'clock in the morning, June 7th, 2023. And they're yelling, and it's Lighthouse Tabernacle, Katie's sister, and their group. And they're like, that FBI agent, John, fell for the tapes before. It was just a stunt. What on earth? He actually fell for it? You're kidding. Oh, come on now. That John actually fell for him. It was just a stunt. They're getting even with Dave's heifer joke. Where they set it up so everybody could get me. Because where he was calling her pathetic, that she just wanted attention. She did just want attention, and she is pathetic. That they're cheating behind my back, and instead of just telling me, they set it up that he would deny the whole thing and then say, well, you know, I'd rather kiss a cow's butt than that fat, ugly heifer. Why turn around that? We're married 30 years. He said, she's just pathetic. She's just making up stuff for attention. Well, how would they know? We're in Macy's by the purses. Because they had to have her friends or family hiding in the purses around us and stalking us. Or they would never know. He said it at the entrance. There's no one around us. So how'd they know? The only thing she should have known is right before we walked in the food court, he dipped and kissed me. She said, Ashcroft, no. How would she know? Exactly. Exactly. How would they know? Because it was a setup for her to get attention. She laughed at his joke against me. We all got to get her. What kind of people get people? We're 50 years old. People call me ugly all the time. Because she has them come up. Do I break in their home? Do I tape them unaware? No. Do I have somebody go in and beat and rape them under drugs? Photoshop scenes to get even for them calling me ugly? No, that's psycho bitch stuff. Psycho bitch stuff. Oh, we all got to get her. Because Dave insulted her and I dared laugh. And he said it a couple times in Macy's, but there was no one around. So how would she find out? Because it was a stunt for them to all feel sorry for her. And they have to get me. Nobody should ever go to an apostolic church ever again. Because what's going to happen? What's going to happen? They're going to end up drugged, raped, murdered, sex trafficked. It's not even safe to walk in one of those places. See, that's where this FBI agent, where Katie's sister in Lighthouse Tabernacle, is in that Walmart 62 in Canton, that June 7th, 2023, about 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm using the bathroom. That FBI agent fell for the tapes before. It was just a stunt. They were getting even with me. Had him sell videos of me and Dave in bed on porn sites. Me using the bathroom. Photoshopped a shower scene. My one friend, Matt, he said that he could, his friend said they could Photoshop that shower scene with a laptop. Easily. And Photoshop a lot of things. My other friend, my one neighbor, he had moved off, but I still talk to him, but he's not that far, even though he moved. He had a friend that worked at Facebook. He said they can actually take a sentence where, as if I'd be a car thief. They put I in car thief and then fill in the other words. And since everything's digital, they just fill in the sentence and tape over it. It's not like where they had old movie things and they actually had to clip running cameras. Everything's digital. They just Photoshop over it. And then piece it together and then make a whole tape. And he said it's really easy to do that. And that's how they destroy people. Well, here they're actually violating me with drugs. Well, getting back to June 7th, 2023, Walmart 62, by the bathrooms, June 7th, 2023, screaming out, Lighthouse Tabernacle. Katie's sister is there. FBI agent John fell for the tapes before. What on earth? It was just a stunt. Oh, come on now. He wouldn't fall for the tapes before. It was just a stunt. They were getting even with me by publicly humiliating me because she's dating my husband behind my back and she wanted to attention. And Dave's right. She is pathetic. That she would have anybody even touch the wife instead of just being honest and then move on. Because that'd be logical. He fell for those tapes before they were a stunt, and only a stunt. Come on now, he fell for it? Is that what's going on? And they're screaming, roaring, and laughter. Is that why they got away with it? Because he fell for the stunt of the tapes before? Everybody heard. They sold the login. People were talking the next day down in Mass, and they all heard him make fun of him for falling for the tapes before. He broke constitutional laws. Because it's coming down to the point he's a severe criminal, and the CIA, the FBI, Department of Justice, Director of National Intelligence needs to arrest FBI agent John. Hands down, needs to put him in jail. We have a Fourth Amendment of the House. You have a right to be safe and secure in your own person. Places, your homes, your papers, and effects against on all reasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. Your home cannot be violated. Do they have a right to break in my home? No. No searches, no seizures without probable cause warranted. You have to have a warrant with an oath or affirmation of the people, places, or things to be searched and seized. To actually watch you, police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life. Like people around me, that idiot couldn't hire a stalker. No, he can't. To get even with me for his fat, ugly girlfriend that's a millionaire. And like Officer Reinhardt Lusfeld, he came over and he said, a government official was worried about you, told me to come over and talk to you. He said, I told him about what they're saying. He said, don't you worry about a little thing. We couldn't ever look or listen. It's illegal to be in somebody's house no matter what. Even the FBI would go to jail, and until that agent took your statement and agreed to protect you, they couldn't even be in your home. It's protected like cases with statements only. Same thing for my friend from the prosecutor's office and the Portage County Sheriff's and the Department of Justice. It looks at a man's home as a castle and shall not be entered into. So is Dave allowed to hire a stalker and a rapist and a drugger to frame me and their stalking tapes? And everything can be altered nowadays because it's digital. No. Did he arrest him for it? Did he know about it? Because then he knew, Dave already knew I called the FBI, right? Because they said where I tried to tell him somebody told on me the night before. He called me a liar on a recorded line. They said the police up there verified that it was actually him. Telling on me before I called him back. That they got to him because they knew I called the FBI with their tapes before and instead arrested him. Because how would you even approach it to him? Hi, we've been surveillancing Karen on our own. You're not allowed. You're admitting to stalking? How'd you do it? We kicked in her door and we set up on cameras. Dear God. We've been selling pictures of her on porn sites with Dave. Huh? In her shower, we put a shower scene in the other room. We have sodium pentothal reports. Actually, date rape drug. What does she know? Well, Pete's been raping her too. She has bruises she can't explain. She's throwing up. Headache, dizzy, seen by the doctor. Personal infection because Pete's been raping her real bad. Beat her all over. She only knows she has bruises, sick, dizzy, heart racing, headache from the drugs, and a personal infection. And even the doctor can't figure it out that we're violating it or at all. He can't arrest him. Now, like I'm saying, he's using the FBI to run a sextortion group and scamming victims. Okay? So he knew, right? That Dave already knew, right? And the church people, and he was up there telling on them because he fell for their cheap stunt. They act like he's the biggest dope and doofus in the world. And publicly mocked him, and everybody heard. Or is he going to say he's incompetent? And where I told him, someone told on me the night before, he called me a liar. Didn't want the church's number, didn't want to verify somebody was up there. And that he's purposely looking the other way for cults to get away with murder. Either way, he needs to go to jail because I got raped, tortured. See, they're even saying more sinister stuff, that he fell for a stranger's lie, the faking you were sick and faking you got well. And if I was going to assault their women, he knew they were even raping me and he didn't care. and they could do whatever they wanted to me. So when I call him, he's calling me a liar and everything, made me beg for my life, listed me informant for life, $5,000 a month for life. Even when you tell, and then threaten me if I told. I already told him, Dave, and the church people knew. So is he going to say he's too incompetent that when they set up their surveillance, they didn't find Pete's dirty cameras? And he didn't find out who was stalking me in my home, drugging me, beating, raping me, and I was in high danger? And he purposely, yeah. And the reason, he can't even ask me to stay quiet, he don't have that kind of authority. And I already told him they already knew. See, that becomes to the point of stupid. They said he's the one running around telling everybody no one's allowed to help me. I'll tell you what, the officers that watch me, they better turn him in, because he told them they weren't allowed to help me and let them rape, torture me, bash my skull in. A shooting night, people have been killed, people have been taken and harmed, and told them they weren't allowed to help. They were not paid by the government to take care of me for 4 years, and for them to steal from the government for not doing their job. It'd be like you going into Walmart, clocking in, going to leave and go to the bars, go out to eat, and at the end of your shift, go in and clock out. What would they do? They would fire you for stealing from their payroll. That's exactly what those officers have been doing. Where they said they were in Walmart yesterday. They were told that no matter what, they weren't allowed to help her because she said something. Dave already knew. There was no staying quiet, and he don't have that kind of authority. Even the prosecutor's office, that agent can't talk to you like that. And the only thing legal he did was list you informant with money and immunity. The police can never go along with it. And that's where Tuscarora sheriffs, you can never tell anybody not to believe somebody and not to help them. You go to jail for it. You can get life in federal. It's abuse and misconduct. So for them to sit back and let drug traders and human traffickers run wild down here, and that agent being part of a sextortion group and being a traitor against the U.S. government because he's using the FBI as a front to sextortion people and to human traffic people. They need to arrest him and put him in jail. And everybody involved in this. None of this is funny. And regardless, whose fault is it if it wasn't him up at that church that he didn't find out they already knew when I was trying to tell him they already knew? Because Dave admitted to Danny, April 15, 16, and 23, he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. And it was only Pete up there taping me unaware and doing all those things. He didn't know why that guy confessed, because he got him high and told him go in and confess to a crime he didn't do. They said with those amnesia drugs, they can control everything you say and do for 4 to 6 hours. You're under their control. Now, is any of this funny that he didn't do his damn job and now he's telling everybody not to help me? And he's letting people get taken, killed, and murdered, and letting a sextortion ring do it. And I'll tell you what, all these little kids on Facebook and Instagram, these idiots that are getting pictures of them exposed, you guys, these people and the police need to go into schools, community things, have the whole communities around the United States tell everybody, all girls have the same girl parts, all guys have the same guy parts. It don't matter. Somebody gets a naked picture of your neighbor, your friend, somebody at school, and they threaten to extort money or send it off to their friends. Tell them the word is, I don't care. They go to harass them, threaten them. So these little kids don't take their lives. Teach them to empower themselves. Empower themselves. Take authority back from these villains that are taking naked pictures and then putting them and threatening people that they'll expose them. These little kids are killing themselves. Teach the children to empower themselves. And then tell everybody in the school, if they do it to anybody in the school, the answer is, and if they try to send it to you, we don't care. And all of our friends are going to turn you into the police if you try to send it. Tell them to take back authority over their lives, over these criminals. Learn to tell them you don't care. And have everybody unite as one and to stop the sextortion groups. Teach your children to empower themselves. See, that's where Officer Reinhardt said, I don't care what they say they got. I don't care what they said they did. Until that agent took your statement and agreed to protect you, the FBI couldn't even be in your home and they would go to jail. And when they couldn't even look or listen, and nobody can, That's what my friend at the prosecutor's office and the Portage County Sheriff's, nobody had a right in your home. They can run around, they can scream, they can do their chant dance. And I'll tell you, they're trying to convince people that they can break in their homes. They can violate them. And they can sell pictures of them and Photoshop them. They can break in and drug them, tell them to say something stupid, beat and rape them, and then they can get money out of them. And they can't. They go to jail for it. Even my friend that was a prosecutor, the police better arrest Dave for saying he hired a stalker, and no, they can't look at it, and they know better. So what was that agent for them laughing at him for being a doofus? And like that Akron police area where I work, they were telling neighbors not to say anything. Do you think that agent fell for the tapes before? He better not have known about him, because he was to arrest him for stalking me. He better never looked at him. He knew better. And then he didn't even verify everything was photoshopped on there, and we did. I'm going to upload this.